is going to be all about plurals. We are looking at plurals before we move on to apostrophes of possession. I know that in the previous videos, Miss McNamara and Miss Hall have spoken to you about using apostrophes for contraction or omission. But before we move on to apostrophes for possession, we need to have a look at what plurals are. Before we look at plurals, we're going to have a go at correcting the grammar and punctuation of these sentences. So I'm going to read the sentence, and then you can pause the video and see where the punctuation needs to go or where the grammar needs to be amended. So the first sentence says, as the wind blew violently, the pirates held onto their treasure. So have a quick look at that sentence. Pause the video now. Are there any errors in that sentence that need to be corrected? So we know that all sentences need to start with a capital letter. So our first correction is this A needs to be a capital A. As the wind blew violently, the pirates held onto their treasure. Now you can hear that when I read this sentence, I naturally pause after violently. As the wind blew violently, the pirates held onto their treasure. That pause indicates that comma needs to go after violently. Now this bit here, the first part of our sentence, is our subordinate clause, or it could be a fronted adverbial. As the wind blew violently, the pirates held onto their treasure. We've got a full stop at the end. In a previous video, you learnt the difference between the three varieties of there. So there, and there. So I want you to have a look at this word. The pirates held onto their treasure. Which there should it be? T-H-E-R-E, T-H-E-I-R, or T-H-E-Y apostrophe R-E. Now I know that if something belongs to someone, then we're going to use this there, and we imagine that this I is like a stick person. So the spelling here should be there. One last check, see if it's correct. As the wind blew violently, the pirates held on to their treasure, with a full stop at the end. Moving on to the next one. The pirates who were searching for the pot of gold arrived at the island. I'm going to read the sentence once more, and then you can pause the video and see where the punctuation should be added. The pirates who were searching for the pot of gold arrived at the island. So if you want to pause the video now and have a think about where the punctuation needs to go. So again, we know that this sentence needs to start with a capital letter. The pirates who were searching for the pot of gold arrived at the island. You can hear again that I'm pausing after pirates. The pirates, comma, who were searching for the pot of gold, comma, arrived at the island. Now, we spoke about this being a subordinate clause. It's adding extra information to the sentence. But here, we've got another type of clause adding extra information about the pirates. And this is called a relative clause. This part here is our relative pronoun, and it tells us extra information about the pirates who are arriving at the island. Now, we need to look at this word here. It has a capital I. Now, we use capitals at the start of sentences, but we also use them if the word is a proper noun. This word is not a proper noun. It's not the name of a place. It's just telling us it's an island. It's just a regular noun, so it doesn't need a capital. If we take this relative clause away, this part here, which I'm going to underline, should make sense by itself, our main clause. The pirates arrived at the island. That's how we know that we put the commas in the correct places. Last sentence. As the sun rose up on the horizon, the pirates looked out at the choppy waters. It's going to be a good day, Captain Hook exclaims. So if you want to pause the video now, I'll give you a clue. This sentence includes speech, so you're going to need to think about where the inverted commas go in this sentence. Our sentence needs to start with a capital. As the sun rose up on the horizon, it's another fronted adverbial or subordinate clause. The pirates looked out at the choppy waters. It's going to be a good day, Captain Hook exclaims. So I know this is going to mark the end of my sentence, and the words that Captain Hook is saying is it's going to be a good day. So I need some inverted commas before it's and after the exclamation mark. It's really important that we close our speech after our punctuation. This I needs to be a capital. It's the start of the speech. And we need an apostrophe here. The reason we need an apostrophe in its is because, like Miss McNamara and Miss Hall taught you in the last video, its is a contraction for it is. There's a missing I between the T and the S. It's going to be a good day, Captain Hook exclaimed. Now this is part of his name, so we need a capital C. Captain Hook exclaimed. And he's explaining it, so I'm going to keep that exclamation mark there. So that was a quick recap of basic punctuation in sentences, and we're going to move on to our main topic now, which is plurals. So the reason why we're having our plurals video before our apostrophes for possession video is because quite often some children get confused whether a word is a plural or whether it requires an apostrophe. So it's really important that we can identify which words are plurals before we move on to using apostrophes for possession. There are some rules when you make words a plural, and some of the rules talk about whether the letters are vowels or consonants. So the 5 vowels in the alphabet are A, E, I, O and U, and all of the other letters in the alphabet are consonants. So when we refer to the rules, you need to have it in your mind, you need to understand what a vowel and what a consonant is so that you can understand the rule. So a singular word just means there's one of something. So one cat, one toy, one radio, one wolf. When there becomes more than one of something, we say that that is a plural. And that's when the word ending changes. So the first word here, cat, when we make that a plural, we just add an S. This is a regular noun. So cat becomes cat. We are just adding an S onto that word. And the next 2 examples follow that rule as well. If we have a word that ends in a vowel, O, and then a Y, we just add an S as well. So if there were more than one toy, we would say that there were toys. We're just adding the S. So it's a vowel and then a Y. It's really important that you pay attention to whether it's a vowel before the Y or a consonant, and then I'll talk about that in the next slide and why that's important. If the word ends in a vowel and an O, then you just add S as well. Radios. And it's really important here again that you look at the letter before the O, whether it's a vowel or a consonant, because if it's a consonant, then you would do something different, and I'll show you that in the next slide as well. And the last word, wolf, is a slightly different rule. So if the word ends in F or FE, so if I chose the word, I'll show you an FE word as well, knife, what we do is we replace the F with a V and we add ES. So wolf becomes wolves, so W-O-L, it won't be an F anymore, it will be a V and then an ES. So the word ending changed to VES. And knife here becomes knives. So it would be K-N-I, the F becomes a V, we keep our E and we add an S, knives. So if you've got a vowel and a Y, a vowel and an O, or if it's just a regular noun, we just add an S. If we've got a word ending in F or FE, the word ending becomes VES. So I said before that it was important to look at the letter before the Y or the O and identify whether it's a vowel or a consonant. So here we've got another word ending in Y, but this time the letter before the Y is not a vowel, it's a consonant. We've got the letter B. If your word ends in a consonant and then a Y, the word ending changes to IES. So one baby becomes 2 babies. So we lose the Y and we have IES. So it's really important that you're looking at this letter before the last letter in the word to establish what your word ending is going to be when you make it a plural. Potato. We've got a T before the O, so a consonant before the O. So this time we're not just going to add S like we did when it was a vowel and then an O. Instead we add ES, so potato becomes potatoes. ES at the end. We've got the word box and match here. So any words that are ending in S, CH, SH, X or Z, they follow the same rule. And the rule is the same as this one here, whereby you add es to the end of your word if there is more than one. So box becomes boxes, and match becomes matches. So they're the different rules for making a word plural. If you want to pause the video and go over those rules again and think of some of your own words, then please do that now. In the next slide, there are going to be some words which are in the singular form, and I would like you to have a go at changing these words into plurals. So the words that you have got which are singular: road, life, church, fox, tomato, fly and boy. So remember, it's really important that you look at the word ending, especially if the letter before the last letter, the penultimate letter, whether that's a vowel or a consonant, because that's going to tell you and help you to understand what the word ending should be. So if you want to pause the video now and have a go at changing these from singular to plural, then do that now. And on the next slide, the words you are given are in the plural forms. They've already been converted to plurals. I want to see if you can change them back to their singular noun form. Loaves, nails, shoes, dictionaries, volcanoes, cities and zoos. So these are already plurals. What would they be as a singular noun? So a last challenge for you, see if you can put any of these words into sentences, making sure that you are using the correct plural form. And in the next video, we'll be talking about how to use an apostrophe for possession. And hopefully, now that we've learnt about plurals, this will help you identify when you will need to use an apostrophe for possession.